absolutely that can be working in this space, like actually working on something for safety reasons. So please be mindful of that. And also kind of like, I think in this room we utilize restaurant rules, like AKA like behind,
on your
about
left.
to do something on your left, loud noise, like just be really kind of mindful. Did that not translate? You made a face. If you're going behind somebody and you're holding something or they're like about to use a tool, you wait till they're either done or you when you're going behind them you go behind so like they know that someone's behind them because the space is so big.
Also, is there anyone here that doesn't like to be touched?
Oh.
Because when you're in close proximity, is anybody here like not like to be tapped or anything?
Yeah. Yeah.
No?
Sometimes you have to.
You don't like to be
Just
tapped.
tell me, because I can.
Okay.
I'll tell you. Right. Sometimes the yelling, because
Yeah.
you're gonna hear how loud everything gets.
Mhm.
A lot of times, if anything, I'll try to put my hand in your line of vision.
Yeah.
If I need you, or if I'll like try to like if you're like this, if you see my hand tapping or something like that, or like you see that this is a pause.
Yeah.
You'll also notice that in this room, I'll start to use I already talk a lot with my hands, but you'll see me using them more often now. It's like woodshop sign language. I should learn it, so I don't know what I'm. But there's a really great app. I should learn it because I have to use it quite a bit here. So yeah, that's some of the ground rules. Everyone looks like they are ready to be in here, so I appreciate the costume changing. And tucking, good. This may tuck that in, but not necessarily perfect. Okay. So, this air filtration is always on. I just leave it on. You don't have to worry about it. The dust collection system is going to be that tall black thing over there, and it's connected to a button. There's a button box that has a green button and a red button. Green button's on, red button's off. When you start using the tools, you're going to turn the dust collection system on. That's going to be going through these pipes here to this guy here. Even if it's not like hooked up to a tool, please turn it on. It's still pulling the dust out of the room. There are dust masks over by the fellows' desk area. I can show you where they live. You don't have to inhale it. You don't have to. We have a million of them. It's totally fine. It's room, and then what else? Yeah, you can feel it's kind of dry, it's kind of hot, it's kind of tight. Just take breaks. Be mindful. There are some tools that you can take out of this room and use in the classroom space. Most of them are in the closet. That's on the other side of the dust collection system. We're gonna go over there to find our jigsaw. So we're gonna start with the miter saw. And we're going to go to the bandsaw, and then we're going to do jigsaw. I like to start out with the saws because I feel in my heart everybody has their saw. Like you're going to find one of these saws and you're going to be like, that's my saw. We're besties. We're going to hang out for this whole unit, and I love it so much, and I am obsessed with it. Amy's obsessed with the jigsaw. I literally don't even understand that. Like what do you mean? A lot of that comes from the difference between a handheld tool versus a stationary tool. So they kind of go with their name. And a lot of things in this room, like, they go with their name. You're like, what? You can't remember the name, but it's okay. But if you kind of like think about how the tool functions, that's how you're going to find the name of the tool, which I find delightful. But for example, a handheld tool means that you are holding the tool and the material that you're cutting is stationary and you're moving the tool around in order to do the action. A stationary tool is the opposite. The tool stays stationary while the material is the thing that then moves around. Right? Come on. It's just like so, I love everything in its place. So that's what we're going to do. Today's the big cutting day. And then on Wednesday, what we're going to do is like special topics, aka like sanding and fasteners. And how to bring things together and how to do some finishing work.
Cool.
The table saw is we'll do that as a special. If you want to know that the table saw is going to be that one there, yeah. That's my baby. That's a child. But if you want to get into that, you can do that maybe as a But we're going to start with some of the basic ones first. Cool? Any questions? Okay. Manipulating one? Alright. This is the miter saw. As so named because it cuts miters.
I missed it. I'm just joking.
Great question. What is a miter? So you know in a frame, when you see that it's cut on an angle, it's like a 45 or a 30, like
Okay.
that cut, that's a miter cut. So
Ah.
any angled cut is a mitered cut.
Got you.
You're mitering a piece of wood. And so, this tool can move
Ah.
to your desired angle. Most of the time, you're going to see it in the 0 position. On here, there are a bunch of different degree options for you, and so you can change the degree to which you are making your cut. That is a mitered cut.
All right. Woo!
I love her. I love her.
We now know.
Okay, so when you're approaching the tool, you're going to see it in this position. I leave it like this because I like to lock the tool, because if someone doesn't know how to unlock it, then they haven't learned it from me. And then they have to talk to me. So that means I shouldn't be... I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So on the side here... Sorry, don't worry about that yet. We're going to get to that. On the side here, there's a little button. This button, it just pushes in or pushes out. You're going to push the tool down, pull the button out, and then it will come to the upright position. And this is its sort of like ready position. This is a very special miter. It has a slide function, like so, meaning that you are not limited to the width of the diameter of the blade and how wide of a board you can cut. You can cut a board that's all the way out to here if you so desire. And when I'm talking about the width of it, I'm talking about the distance from here out, all right? So when you're cutting something, that's where you're going to be placing. So it's like a chop motion, all right? With me so far?
But this is not a chop saw.
Okay, so it's like a square and a rectangle thing. So a miter saw is a chop saw,
But a chop saw
isn't
doesn't.
necessarily a
Got
miter
it.
saw. So like in the metal shop,
Yeah.
there's a chop saw, but it
Yes.
doesn't have the miter
Ability.
thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent question.
Thanks.
Yeah. Squares and rectangles. Okay. Huh? Yeah, I know.
Thank you.
Listen, kid, Kelsey, we know.
Yes.
We know about our brains. Okay. Alrighty. So, let's say, so when you're coming to it, you want to check everything. With all of the tools, you never know who used it last. So you want to make sure that you check the settings prior to your use of it, because if they did something weird to it, then it's going to do something weird to whatever you want to do. So let's say that I was over here and I was making like a 3-degree cut, but you didn't know that.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's at 90. It looks like it's at 0, but it's not. So you're going to want to check. There's like a little red piece of plastic right here on this side that's going to point to the degree measurement of the miter. The way that you move this back and forth, there's a handle in the front. You're going to pull it up, and then you will be able to move it around. But if it gets stuck like that, there's a few places where it likes to stay, like some of the more true, like angles that are used more often, it will just stay in this position. But the way it's completely free to move is you're going to push the button on the top, and then you'll be able to move it freely without it getting stuck on anything. So first things first, I'm going to make sure it's at 0. I'm going to make sure my handle is in the down position. That means that the miter table is locked. And so we're not going anywhere, we're not moving anywhere. Most likely you will find it in this position and you don't have to worry about these things. But if you start cutting something and you notice that it's like a little bit at an angle or anything like that, that's one area where you can check the tool, okay? So that's the first part. This is the table, and this is the fence here. These are very important parts because they keep our piece of wood in its place. When our blade is spinning, you'll notice that, so a blade just has these like teeny tiny little chisels on the edge here. These are the teeth of the blade. There are different types of blades for every type of material. Some are closer together, some are farther apart. Depends on the density of the material and the type of material. This is just a standard combination blade that we're going to use for wood and wood only. So each one of these little chisels it's being turned in this direction. The rotation of blades becomes really important because it gives you a clue about where you should be holding on the tool. Because let's say that we know this blade is turning this way. When we bring it down, that means it's going to push my material down and into the fence. So if we know that going into it, if I were to have my material here and my blade rotation is going really quickly, it's actually gonna push it back like that. So it becomes really important. All right, so it's turning this way. That means I want to push it all the way in and I want to hold it down. So this like corner in here between the fence and the table, this is our sweet spot. You want to have contact with that and whichever that you're working on. I have seen it and if it happens where you're accidentally a little askew or something like that, it's not the end of the world. Most likely what will happen is the wood will pop and it will just scare the bejesus out of you for like a hot second and make a loud noise. You'll be like, and then you'll go like this, and you'll have all your fingers, and you'll have your eyes, and
Hopefully.
you'll be fine. It's happened to me. I've seen it, like you're moving fast, you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
These things happen. But like I said, it's like literally like a smack, and you're like, oh, sorry. You're like, I'm so sorry. Didn't mean it. Okay, so that's our sweet spot for our material. These little chisel buddies, they like going like this. That's what's happening, and it's spinning around. This becomes also important for the slide function. So if you have a wider piece that you'd like to cut, what you're going to do is you're actually going to pull it out, then go down and push in when you're doing that because of the direction of those tiny chisels. Because if you were to start from here and then go this way, you're actually getting the back side of that cut, and it's not allowing it to do its function. So it's actually cutting like this as opposed to cutting like this. All right? For a piece like this though, we won't need to use the slide. We'll be able to just go all the way down because we can see that our blade is going to clear the full piece. All right? Oops, sorry. All right. Questions so far?
With what you put underneath there, is that what you need normally?
Just like a little fun box. It's just nice. I don't have to hold it so aggressively. Megan made this. Our star. It's around the same height. Ish. Normally, like in fancy woodshop places, they'll have like a table build out that would just be like a continuation of this, and it's very nice. We don't have that because we need like the table space for y'all. All right. Last note about the slide function is that if you don't need it, don't pull the piece out. So I have seen it where someone's going to cut something that's about this width, and they actually pull it out here, and then they start down here, and then push in. Try your best not to do that. Your aim would be the center of this blade. That'll be your optimal cut. Center here, center on the board, and cut through. If you're starting it on the edge like this, it just kind of might pull it up a little bit. Once again, it won't be the end of the world, but we're avoiding popping, basically. Okay. When I'm using the tool, I am right-handed. We have some lefties in the house, right? Okay. So I tend to put my left hand on the board. You can see little areas where it's like, no hands, don't do it. All right. Those are going to be your little danger zones. I would say that where the miter table juts out, that's like the big no-no zone. This is a great area to hold onto the board, like right on where the hand is, right about there. Because if you go too far out, especially if you didn't have a box, if you didn't have a box here, then you would end up pushing it down like this. And you want to keep it flat against the table, which is very, very important. So I like to put my hand right sort of like, I'm putting it like right here-ish.
Where it says no hands.
Yeah, where it says no hands. I put my hand there. I put my hand in the no hands zone.
Just checking.
This is for insurance. This is for the insurance. And then I put my thumb on the outside, and so I'm pushing into the fence, and down on the table.
Cool.
If you feel nervous about your fingies, you can also tuck them in like this. Like when you're cutting vegetables, you can tuck some people tuck their finger in. You can do that as well. So I have my hand here, it's secure, it's holding onto our board.